Okay, by now you should have had a chance to experiment with the ideas, to complete the experiment with ideas section. And in that you're asked to consider the cauliflower and consider the scenario that you, as a child, didn't like cauliflower. But as you have matured, you now like cauliflower. And in this scenario, what is going on with the qualia? So in this situation, is it that the taste of the cauliflower has changed? Or is it that your reaction to the taste has changed? And so this experiment is leading the way to one of the arguments against qualia, or the argument for saying it's incoherent. The other idea that you should have had a go thinking about is this idea of inverting colour. So is it possible that you always see yellow skies and blue bananas, whereas everyone else sees blue skies and yellow bananas? Is it possible that there are people that just have their colours inverted and see things differently? So the second major argument that Dennett produces is the argument of a matter of taste. And rather than cauliflower, he runs it through with beer. Beer is a good example because beer is a common taste that many people would dislike initially, but maybe over time some people come to like the taste. So a taste for beer. If it was the case that when you first tried beer you didn't like it and you found it quite an unpleasant taste, but now many years later as an adult you find the taste rather compelling, is it that the taste has changed of the beer, or is it actually that your appreciation or relationship to that has changed? Have you changed? And Dennett argues that this simple case produces a problem for the standard definition of qualia. So, because either way, the taste cannot have an intrinsic nature, or it can't have an intrinsic nature and at the same time your understanding of that intrinsic nature is infallible. So if we then look at Dennett's analysis of qualia, there's the 5 points again. And in this scenario, if it is the taste of the beer that's changed, well, therefore the intrinsic nature of the beer that you accessed as a child, well, you didn't really fully access it. The beer has changed, so therefore it can't have an intrinsic flavour of taste. Alternatively, if it's you that's changed, well, as a child you didn't fully understand or have an infallible understanding of beer, whereas now you do. Or maybe conversely, as a child you had the proper understanding of beer and as an adult now you don't. So whichever way you look at it, it appears that this argument of taste changing over time is a problem for qualia and the standard definition. So Dennett would come in and argue that the standard understanding, the standard analysis or properties of qualia is or are inconsistent, and particularly on the 2 points where the cross has been marked. The last argument that Dennett gives to make it incoherent is the notion of colour inversion. So in this notion, he challenges us to imagine two people, one who always sees skies as blue and bananas as yellow, like ordinary people, like most people. However, there is someone that sees it the other way around. This person, they see skies as yellow and bananas as blue. Is this a coherent possibility, he asks, and how do we deal with this in qualia? And he would kind of argue if one person has their colours inverted, there'd be no way of telling under the standard version of qualia. And we cannot detect changes of qualia. Because then he argues, okay, well, imagine that you have your colours inverted. So one day you see suddenly everything changes and you start seeing the sky as yellow and bananas as blue. Just one day you wake up. Would you be able to tell the difference? And if we cannot detect these changes to the qualia, again, surely we're not actually having direct and infallible access to their natures. And the reason being is that Dennett's arguing if you do take the view, the standard view of qualia, that they're private, that you can't communicate your proper understanding of them to other people, then actually there'd be no way of telling whether you've had your colour inverted or not. So in this scenario of no way of telling, then it creates quite an incoherent concept of qualia. So our apprehension of qualia is infallible. That can't be the case if we're not able to tell whether our colour has been inverted from one day to the next. And surely we can't properly see their intrinsic nature if, again, we're not able to tell the difference. Okay, so in total then, we have all the different arguments against So we've got his first argument against qualia, that one of reactive dissociation. Then the second one is the matter of taste. The third one is the argument through the inverted spectrum. Now, these are complicated arguments, and this is a complex part of the course. So at this stage, show perseverance. Don't worry if you don't get all of the details of the arguments. Go back through the textbook, do some further research as well. And for your homework, I would like you to now bring all your knowledge together and answer the question. Oops, where is it? I'll try and find it. The final slide. There we go. Explain what qualia are. Again, further research can be given. You can pad that out with some explanations. And then I'd like you to try and give 4 arguments against. I've given you 3. Can you do some further research to try and come up with a 4th? Or just come up with a pure original argument against qualia. Or if you can't do that, feel free to think of an argument for them. In the event you can't get your head around all of the Dennett's examples, again, don't panic. Try and explain 1 or 2 in great detail rather than trying to do them all if that is what's best for you at the moment. Okay, that's it.